Welcome to Mimio Training Quick Learn On Demand, MimioStudio Intermediate 2, Formatting 2. In this session, we'll cover animations, cloning, hyperlinking, action settings, and backgrounds and templates. Animations can be added to any object that you create or import into MimioStudio. You can choose to perform the animation each time you click an object or each time the page with the object is displayed. It's really easy to do this. What you do is you select the object that you would like to animate, and then you can select Insert from the menu and then Animate right down here. Or, conversely, you can also right-click on the object and then select Animate from right there. Either way, you're going to get the same results. Let's do a practical demonstration of this. Here we have an objective box right here. What we want to do is we want to animate this objective box by having it slide in from the top right of the screen, and we're going to set the trigger to the notes option. So the way that this is going to look is we're going to right-click on it, and we'll select Animate. Then we'll select Slide In from the top right. So I right-click, click on Animate, and then I'll scroll down here, Slide In from top right. Next thing that I'm going to do then is I need to select my trigger. So if I click on this box right here, I have my slide in from top right selected, and then when I click on my triggers, I have the default, which looks like this, but I can also have a results or a notes trigger in my options. What I want to do is I want to select the notes option. So I'm going to right click once again, click on Animate, select my way to have it animate in from the top right, and then I want to select my trigger, and this is going to be the notes trigger. When I've made my selections then, I click OK, and now you see my box has gone away. I have this, this question icon right here. I click on that, and then it reveals my object. Now if I want to get rid of this blue border, just like we talked about in previous sessions, you can right click on this, click on Lock, and now my blue border goes away, and my interactive object can animate in and off of my page just like that. Now, like I mentioned before, you have 3 different animation triggers. There's the default trigger that looks like this. If you are working with results, then you can use the results trigger, or you have the notes trigger like we have up in the corner up here. If you want to use the results trigger, you can use the results charts found in the MimioStudio gallery, and those are used with the Mimio Vote or the Mimio Mobile assessment. So that's a quick and easy way to build that assessment, or to build that in. Now the other part of our activity that we want to try here is we want to animate the state of Idaho so that it covers Boise. If I click on Texas and Kansas, we'll see that when I click on those, they disappear. So I want to do the same thing here. I'm going to move this over the top of my answer, and this time I'm going to select my object and go up into Format, go to Insert, and then click on Animate. This time I want it to fade out when I click on it because it's an answer reveal, and I'm going to have this start when the object is clicked. I'm going to click on OK. Now it gets that blue border. I know it's interactive. When I click on it then, it disappears. Once again, to get rid of that blue border, I can right-click and then click on Lock. And now my blue border is gone, and I can use that as a way to reveal my answer. So any object that you import into your page can be animated and turned into a reveal or pushed off to the side of the page. Cloning is a feature that allows you to create an infinite number of copies simply by dragging them onto the notebook screen. This, once again, is a very easy thing to do. A couple of different ways that we can do this depending on your preferred workflow. You can either select the object and then click on Insert and then Clone right down here. Or you could also right-click on the object and select Clone from the menu there. What we're going to do next is I'm going to bring in an object from my MimioStudio gallery, and I'm going to clone it. So I've got my gallery right here. We'll do a search in here for fish, and I'm going to pull up a clownfish. So I click and I drag him in there. Next thing, I want it selected. Click on Insert, and then Clone. He gets that blue border. Something is happening with him. When I click and drag then, I can make as many copies of this fish as I want. They're never going to run out. When I'm done with them then, I can just drag them into the trash can, but my original stays in place. And once again, if I want to get rid of that blue border, I can right-click on it, go up to Lock, and now it'll stay in place, but I can still do my cloning. Here's an example of what this might look like in the classroom. This activity says that we're going to choose the required elements from the periodic table to create the compounds. So I have sodium chloride. I happen to know that that's NaCl. I'm going to grab a Cl from right here. You'll see I grabbed a cloned version of it, so I've got my compound right here. And then I need to find Na, which is sodium, and I've done this before. Right? Yes, it is Na. So when I find my Na, there it is, I can build my compound. I have NaCl, and if this is what I wanted to do, that's correct. I'm done with this part of the activity. I've checked my answer, so now I can just grab those and drag them into the trash can right here, get rid of them. Next thing, I can build carbon dioxide. So if I wanted to build carbon dioxide, I could just drag 2 oxygen along with and a carbon. Same thing here. If I wanted to build H2O, then I have 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, so I can grab my 2 hydrogen in here, and my compound has been built. I checked my answer, I'm good to go, so I can trash those and move on. So this is an example of how you can use cloning. Counting activities, money is a good one if you're classifying objects. Lots of different ways that we can use this. Hyperlinking helps you ease your navigation in your file as well as outside of your file to external resources. You can hyperlink images and text to websites, files, pages within your lesson, and files that you've attached to the lesson. So very versatile tool with hyperlinking. The way that you would do this is first you need to start by selecting the object that you would like to hyperlink. After you've selected the object, you have 2 different options once again. You can select Insert from the menu and then click on Hyperlink, or you can right-click on the object and select Hyperlink. Either way, what's going to happen is you're going to get a menu that looks like this. It looks like it says Action Settings. It tells us a couple of different things about the action that we're trying to do, and then we've got some options there. Let's go into that a little bit more depth on this next page. So here, for the action, for right now, when you insert in a hyperlink, I want you to keep that action on keep that action to on-click for hyperlinking. Makes the most sense to keep it that way. The feature is launch hyperlink because that's what we're trying to do here. We'll talk about these action settings a little bit later on in the session. Next, you can choose where you want to link to. You can link to an existing file or web page, and the way that you would do that is you just type in the path right here. So if it's a website, you just type in whatever the website is that you want to go to, or copy and paste it from your web browser, and then that'll make that object link to that specific resource. You could also have it link to a file attachment or a page within your current Mimio notebook. So you can choose those in that link to menu right here. If you want to link to a file on your computer, you can click on the Browse button, and then that's going to take you to your file navigator. You can find the file that you want to link to, and then when you get there, you click OK, and then it inserts it in here as a link. When you're all set, you click OK, and then that applies the hyperlink option. So here's what those things would look like in practicality. I'm going to link to a website, a file attachment, a file, and also to a page within the current notebook. First of all, we have Mimio Connect, this object right here. I want to link this to MimioConnect.com. So I'm going to right-click on Mimio Connect. I'm going to go down here to Hyperlink, and then I want to launch a hyperlink. I'm going to type in www.MimioConnect.com. Now when I click OK, I get that blue border, means it's interactive. Click on Mimio Connect icon, and you'll see it launches a web browser. I get MimioConnect.com, good to go. Next, I want to link to a video file that I have on my computer of Alaska. So I'm going to right-click on this, and I'm going to click on Hyperlink. And I want to link it to an existing file or web page. I'm going to click on Browse, and I have my Alaska video right here. So when I double-click on that, it's been selected. Good to go. I click OK. And now when I click on this, it's going to launch that Alaska video using the native player that I have enabled on my computer. So it's not a part of my file. It's just a link to that file on my computer. Now if I were to move this file, my Alaska video, then that link would break. Or if I were to move this link to, or move this file to a different computer, then it would also lose that link. So you want to make sure that if you are linking to an external file, that does not get moved after you have created the link. The way to get around that is to hyperlink something to a file that has been attached to your ink file. So I'm going to right-click on here, click on Hyperlink. And now instead of an existing file or web page, I'm going to click on this box right here, and I've got my file attachments right down here at the bottom of the list. You see I have all 20 pages as well as these first 4 options. What I want to do is I want to link to my MathBurger fat data. When I click on that then, and I click OK, what this does is I can click on that and it opens the spreadsheet in Excel, which is what I wanted to do. We can find that file right over here. If I click on my file browser, move my tools out of the way, see I've got this MathBurger fat data is attached to my file right here. Pros and cons of both of these depending on the approach that you want to take. With this way, it's always going to work. So when you hyperlink, if I share this file with somebody or if I were to send this file to somebody else, then this hyperlink would show up and everything would work out just fine. But if it were a video or a media file, that is going to greatly increase the size of my document. So you want to kind of find the balance between what works really well for you, depending on how much you want to share it or anything like that. If it's something that's just going to stay on that computer and you're not going to lose any of those other files, then maybe go ahead and just link to it. But if you want to make sure that everything works, I would suggest attaching the file directly to your document, and then that way your link is always going to work, especially when you share it. Let's switch back to my thumbnail view. And then what I want to do now is I want to take this word next and link it to the next page. So I have my next word selected. I'm going to go up here into Insert and then Hyperlink. And I click on my link to, and I want to go to my next page right here. Click OK. It gets that blue border, means it's interactive. Something happens when I click on it. If I click on it, it takes me to my next page. That's hyperlinking. Very handy way to add some navigation tips and tricks to what you do. Our action settings allow you to choose what action you would like to apply to an object. So this includes hyperlinking and object cloning, and you can also add sound to objects, which is what we'll demonstrate next. But you can change all of those settings in your action settings. The way that you would do this is, once again, select the object and go up into your Insert menu and then go to Action Settings. Or you could also select your object, right-click on it, and then select Action Settings right down here. Either way, it's going to bring you to the same spot. Get our Action Settings box, which is very similar to hyperlink and cloning. So here's what it looks like. Here's how we can add a sound to an object. We're going to search for fish in the MimioStudio gallery. I'll drag and drop it onto this notebook page, and then I'll add a sound to that object by accessing the action settings. But once again, understand you can also use the action settings to apply a hyperlink or to clone something. So I'm going to pull up my gallery again. I've got my clownfish. I'm going to drag him in here, and now he's on the page. I want to add a sound to it. So I'm going to right-click and click on Action Settings. Now here, on-click is what I want to happen, but I also see I can have the option of on-drag. On-drag is going to be most useful when you are working with cloning, just because it makes it a little bit easier to manipulate objects. You've already got them selected, and you're already moving them out of the way if you do it on-drag. If you do on-click, I suggest that you use on-click for when you are creating a hyperlink or when you're creating a sound. You're having a sound attached to it. So I'm going to leave that as on-click. My feature then, I have Launch Hyperlink, Clone, or Play Sound. Play Sound is what I want to choose this time. Now you see I get a box at the bottom. I want to load my sound, and here's the sound that I want. It's a bubble sound. I can preview it right here, and that's going to give me an opportunity to hear what the sound sounds like. When I click on OK, I get my blue border, and if I were to click on this, it's going to play that sound just the way that I had intended all along. So a fun way to add another element of interactivity to your lessons. You can use this as a way to have kids select a right or a wrong answer, or give them some kind of feedback with an activity that they do. Backgrounds allow you to add images and colors as the canvas to one or multiple pages of your lesson. You can create templates of your pages and then add them to your gallery. So first, talking about backgrounds, we have once again 2 ways to do that. You can either, on the page that you want, click on Insert and then go to Background, or you can right-click on a blank portion of the notebook page and select background. Either way, it's going to bring up this menu that you see right here. We'll talk about what each of these different boxes mean on the next page. So in your background menu, you have a preview window that shows you what your background is going to look like before you finalize it. Over here in this drop-down, you have the current background, but you can also choose to clear your background or select a previous background that you've set up on another page. Here, in these two boxes, you can select an image from your computer and apply that as the background, or you can select a solid color and have that as the background for your image as well. This mode tells you where the image should be located on the screen. So if we place it, it's just going to be in one spot. We can center it, we can stretch it, we can tile it. We have a couple of different options there. So depending on the image and the way that you want it to look, you can pick the different place. Then we can also choose where we want it to be applied. We can either apply it to the current page, or we can apply it to our whole document. If we check this box, then what will happen is it's going to be applied to all of the new pages that we create after this one. So you can use this as a way to keep the same background from page to page. Once we've made all of our selections, we're ready to go. We can click on OK, and then that's going to apply our background. Templates are backgrounds and predefined page layouts. You can create your own templates and easily save them within your gallery. A couple of different ways to do this. First off, once you've created your page, you can go into the thumbnail view right over here, select the page, and then select Copy from the menu. When you open your gallery then, you can choose the folder that you'd like to place your template into, and then select Paste from the Mimio Gallery menu. Or you could also, from the thumbnail view, select a page and drag it into the folder of your Mimio Gallery. So just click and drag. That's my preferred method. The other way that you could do this is you could right-click on the page in the thumbnail view, select Copy right here, open your gallery, choose the folder, right-click in the gray space, and select Paste. Either way, it's going to put it into a specific category called Templates. It's going to call it New Template, and then you can right-click on it and select the properties, rename it, give it the kinds of things that you need in order so that you know how to find your template later on. So let's demonstrate how this works. I'm going to add a background color to this page, and then I'm going to go into my gallery, find the graph paper folder, and then add the image of graph paper to this page, and then I'm going to add it to my gallery. So first thing I want to do is add a background color. I'm going to go up here into Insert, and then Background. I want to change the color, so I'm going to click on Color, and I'm going to pick this bright teal kind of color. We'll click OK. We'll click OK again, and now it's been applied. Next thing I need to do is I need to go into my gallery, and I want to find my graph paper folder, expand my images. This is the graph paper that I want to use, this one right here. So I'm going to click and drag that in here. Now I'm all set. I've got it where I want it to be. I'm going to lock it, so that it stays on there. And then I have I want to put it in my graph paper folder right here. So I can right-click on this, click on Copy, select my folder here, and then click on this Paste button right up here in my gallery. When I do that, it shows up here under Templates. It's a new template. Now I can right-click on it, click on Properties, and I can give it a name. So we'll call this Graph. And now I've got my graph name. I could also have taken this template and taken my thumbnail view here and just click and drag it over here into this gray area. And as soon as I let go, it gets added into my gallery. I've got a new template, and it looks just the same as it did before, so it overwrote the one that I had in there. So I can go in here, I can change my properties once again, give it a new name, and I'm all set. So that is how we can add templates to our gallery and change the background color. A couple of extension activities for you to try. The file that was sent to you at the beginning of the session will have a challenge file in there, some directions for you to try out and things to try. I would encourage you to add cloned objects to your own files, hyperlink to an external source that was described in as it was described in this session. If you have any lessons with websites and other resources that you use, put them all together and add hyperlinks to your Mimio lesson. Make it easy and save time. Create a template from repetitive lessons that you use, such as data tables, seating charts, attendance charts, those kinds of things. And then, of course, learn more from our other quick learn sessions. Mimio training, lots of on-demand and online resources available for you to use at Mimio.com. There are reference guides, video tutorials, user guides, and other quick learn recordings, as well as a registration portal for live quick learn sessions where you get to practice some of these activities with a little bit of support from somebody else who uses it on a very regular basis. So I encourage you to check those out and see what you can learn using Mimio. Mimio Connect is our interactive teaching community with free educational teacher-created resources that are aligned to state and Common Core standards. There's a large active online community with Mimio Masters who can answer your questions directly. So if you haven't, please join us at MimioConnect.com. Here's the Mimio Classroom product. You can find out more by contacting your local sales rep or reseller for more information. Visit Mimio.com or call 877-MyMimio. Here's a link to an assessment that will qualify you for 1 hour of professional development credit or CEUs in your district, in your state or district. The certificate will be provided after you complete the assessment. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you can contact us at trainingatmimio.com. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/mimio.technology, and watch us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/mimiotechnology. And here are the files that I referenced at the beginning. I'll send those out to you once again. Make sure that you've got those. So thank you for watching.